What's up, guys? We're going to take a look at the skill tree so far for the Amazon. So we started off by coming out of the top side of the starting point, grabbing some attack damage, pathing into Primal Instinct, came down to pick up Stalk and Leap, trying to interweave some melee damage as well as the projectile damage, kind of going between throwing some of the spears as well as using the melee skills primarily focused on Rake. Came down here to grab some accuracy. We'll talk about that later, how we're going to be working to stack that together with the build. Some projectile speed as well as some attack speed. Threw some random strength nodes in there just for some scaling for one of the supports on our main attack. Came down here to grab some skill speed and a little bit of movement speed. We'll finish this side of the tree out by grabbing this cluster here for some more accuracy and attack speed based off of our accuracy, filling out the spear cluster, and then also making our way up here to grab the companion cluster. Each one of these nodes should give about 12% extra damage to the companion, and when you top that off with this node here, Inspiring Ally. So what we're going to see is that we get 1, 2, 3, 4 nodes here that are going to give 12% extra damage. So I figure 50% increased damage once we take that, and then these nodes past here will help reduce some of the reservation percentage that the companion is going to take. After the first trial, we took the Predatory Instinct here, which you could see that on the health bar in the Surf and Fight. Our second 2 points will go in for the kill, just for a little bit of increased skill speed, increased move speed, and then for the third and fourth trial, we might be going Critical Strike. I'm not 100% sure on how the interaction here will work. In theory, in PoE2, you should be able to scale your bleeding off of the base hit, and technically if the critical hit chance is high enough and you're getting critical hits, that should give you a higher flat damage to scale your bleeds with, but I'm not 100% sure if that's how that'll end up working out, so we'll go along for the ride and try it out. Like I said at the beginning, it's not necessarily a build guide, but more of a journey, and we're going to see how that all plays out, and I'll keep you guys updated. So I figured we'd do a little gameplay footage of the leveling process. So in the first few clips, I'm just kind of highlighting how we use the parry, trying to get the feel down for the mechanics. A couple of really tense situations. Got myself in some really low life areas, trying to focus down the mobs here, get some charges for the health flask, and then finally, almost got caught there, but finally able to get rid of the little guys and land a hit or two on the Devourer for the kill. Perfect. Next up, we have the fight against Geonor. I can tell you right now, the bleed build did not come online this early. This felt pretty bad. I was hard stuck here for about 30-45 minutes, and then finally just was able to break through. I'm pretty sure I hit the enrage phase on every one of these attempts. You'll see here shortly we'll clip over, and when he ports back in, we have these ice and blood beams coming from the sky. I'm pretty sure that's enrage. But this was, like I said, the 4th or 5th attempt, and I was really ready to be done with this fight. So once he's done with this phase, I really just tried to face tank and DPS. Yeah, probably wasn't the smartest idea, but it worked out this time. For this clip, we're going to be fighting against Rattlecage. He's the first floor boss for a trial of the second one. He has some decent mechanics to watch. As you can see right there, he brings up some fiery fissures that'll pop some fireballs and can hit you. Again, remember when you're in the trial, you have life, energy heal, but more importantly, you also have your honor, which if that runs out, the run is over as well.
Slam! It burns! Straight through the air! Slam!
Alright guys, I figured we'd do a little bit of gameplay highlights here. So the build now is coming online with Rake being our main attack. It's supported with Stomping Grounds, which is adding the shockwaves that you're seeing going off. I would say that it really felt like the build was struggling until we added Stomping Grounds into it. After that, it really seems like it's coming together nicely. Not sure if this is more of a scaling issue for everything else, or if this is the way it's supposed to feel. But so the focus of the parry is going to be looking to do something like that, throwing that together. You can combo it with your spears. Sadly, the Rake doesn't seem to have an empowered version, so there's no way of taking advantage of that currently. But this is just what it looks like to clear the mobs. And let's race over to the Serpent boss over here, and I'll cut to it when we get there. Alright, here we go. We're going to run in to fight the Serpent Queen here. We're going to try to put some of this on showcase and show how the boss fight takes, the boss damage goes. So you can see on the top, this section of the life over here, that is the Bloodlust that's building. We can use our Q, which is Blood Hunt, to proc that, get some extra damage. Alright, that's what that looks like for single target damage. Alright, and our main skill is Rake, which we have linked to Stomping Ground, as I mentioned earlier. Stomping Ground is going to be taking 100 to 150% of your strength and scaling that as physical damage. We're also linking that to Brutality for 25% more physical damage. Like I said earlier, you really felt the build start to come alive once I put Stomping Ground into that. The other main attack I'm using is Spearfield. We're using it for the maim to slow enemies down. Not so much using it for any of this, but really that maim to slow them down. If the enemy moves slower, it takes a longer time for them to get to us. And then Bloodlust, so it can deal a little bit more damage. We're not looking for that to be the source of our bleed. Herald the Blood, kind of goes without saying, adding base physical damage to the attacks, higher bleeding scaling. And then, like I said, Blood Hunt to proc the total blood loss that has occurred for a little bit of extra burst DPS. Alright, I'll make sure to keep you guys updated on how this goes and how it ends up building out. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comment section below, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Have a great day, guys.